Okay, let's get on to the...
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, they are.
Double
Sometimes
championships.
with more and less reason. Okay, let's get into it here. Game number 3, Dplus back on the blue side once again. And I want to see this guy back on an aggressive pick on that top side of the map. I want to see... They were talking about the rigidity in draft. I swear, this has just been CVMAX forever. We were talking about the fact that Fearless is going to help, but you can still run the same archetypes over and over again. You can still try and force the same thinking onto a team, and it doesn't necessarily work out. Sometimes things don't work, just let it go, do something else.
Yeah, it starts to seem like Dplus might have to index into Showmaker just getting more pop-off picks and having individual agency more than trying to build team comps, because...
I mean, we saw Inspired get a pentakill on Tryndamere, right? Like, that happened. And so maybe that means that Showmaker can bring back the mid-Tryndamere in a potential matchup.
I was kind of more thinking about like a LeBlanc pick, or like a Kiana that hasn't really been seen here in Korea that much.
That's kind of a fun one.
We'll see the Yunara and the Azir, which is no shock. You and I were talking about in the break. I think Azir is probably going to be banned for the rest of the series.
I would agree.
Point.
I think the other thing that should be banned for the rest of the series is Nico. That hasn't been looked at just yet. Still 2 more bans to come through.
Right here is where it will be banned.
I would expect so, unless Dplus are going to go for a Nico first pick. That was something that I believe worked out for Nongshim yesterday. Even though they didn't win the series ultimately.
Victor, interesting. That's not what I expected.
No.
That pick has not been, despite maybe what...
the powerful flex pick of Victor.
Yeah.
Hee.
Well, they're not going to get the first pick, Nico. The Pantheon was banned on blue side. So we're going to see something completely different here.
Oh, if they blind Trundle...
That's what I was kind of thinking.
I may get up and leave.
That's what I was kind of thinking we might see. Blind Jarvan, how about that?
Blind Jarvan, all about it. Love that.
Yeah,
that's great.
That could be a better option, but I feel like they might blind Trundle.
If they... Okay, it's Annie, it's Annie. Oh, I love that. That's fair. Not Trundle.
That's very good.
Oh, I can stay. Oh, man. Okay.
You could, as bro here, just go for... Well, you could just go blind Ambessa, but I was going to say you could go for something completely different. The Trundle, okay, well... Whatever. Well, who cares what I was thinking, you know?
Yeah.
Just go blind Trundle and Vessa, sure.
I guess, do I have to leave still? I didn't want first pick blind Trundle. I still don't like this. However, I'm not outraged enough to actually...
I thought they could just go Jarvan Sivir, you know? Like, I thought
that great.
That's where I was leaning towards, but...
Don't pick Poppy into Trundle. We're not picking Poppy into
Trundle and also Poppy blind? No, they wouldn't.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so it is going to be Kai'Sa. You could just go Kai'Sa Rakan. Annie Rakan has been a combination that's worked very well in the past.
Yeah, it does give you some strong lane sustain for what could be a tough matchup, or will likely be a tough matchup, but I like that teams are, starting with BNK, starting to push the 80 carry into the first phase a little bit more, so you can actually build a draft around the CC that Showmaker can now set up here with this Annie.
Yep.
It's probably going to be a jungle pick, though, I think. And Poppy still, they really want it.
God,
it's a flex.
I hate it technically so much. Why are we picking Poppy into Trundle? It's like one of the greatest things for Trundle to press R on.
There is so much peel and engage here for Bro with this Galio lock-in here now. And it's been the very common response to the Annie. It's a little bit less crazy than the Vikla Morgana response to the Annie. It's the one I like a little bit more. But it opens up so many cool scaling 80 carries here for Bro. Like, for example, the Zeri, which I think would probably be banned by Dplus Gia in this second phase.
Yeah. Certainly a lot of 80 carries now have been taken away, right? Like the Corki and the Jhin that have been very high priority throughout.
You could just ban Jax and also the Gwen here as Bro, which is looking like the angle they're looking for.
Yeah. Not expecting that this is going to be a top lane Poppy or anything like that. We're also hoping that because she, as mentioned on the space and during the game last time around, hasn't been fantastic on tanks.
Zeri seems super obvious just because it's hard to get on top of her with Annie. It's hard to get on top of her with Poppy. And there's just so much frontline here. Xayah, similar story, right? But the Zeri is even scary. Maybe they'll end up banning the Zeri in that final spot.
Yeah.
Gwen here is my expectation. And it is a very strong side lane threat with this composition, a lot of extra damage.
I don't like it into Ambessa. I think especially after the nerfs, it just doesn't feel like a playable matchup. But they might go for it anyway, just because Xiu has been pretty confident on the champion. There is the Jarvan ban away as well.
Expecting Poppy support.
Yeah. As of course, I mean, it is technically a triple flex.
Like, Hype is
kind of cool.
Is so good at Zeri. I think if you leave this up, you will regret it as Dplus. See what they decide to opt for. Ezreal also safe, but doesn't work the same way in this comp as the insane hyper carry that Zeri will be.
Yeah, I don't like Ezreal quite as much.
Yeah.
I think they do want some consistent damage.
Jinx is okay. Like maybe it's real. This is exactly the opposite of what I thought we were going to see. Like the exact opposite.
I also think MF you can see 3 things that deal with MF really well.
Yeah, no, I can't. I'm not gonna give this one my thumbs up. This one doesn't get my blessing.
And now you can add more things that also don't care about MF if you would like to.
I prefer the Lee Sin here actually to the Nocturne. Zed in this draft kind of feels pretty good.
All right, there's the Zed. And we get a huge cheer from the LoL Park fans as well. Lucid going to need to make something of it, though. I think he's looked a little lackluster on a lot of these carry jungles that really need to take over, as Xiu now going to be taking the Aatrox into the Ambessa matchup this time around.
They just think there's enough damage in this Annie and Kai'Sa later on that they don't want to go for a strong side laning Gwen or anything like that. With this Zed pick, it does kind of make sense. They just know they're like, our job is to kill the Misfortune, and it's pretty easy. And if we have the Aatrox, then it just gets even easier. It's another flank threat that's pretty difficult to turn on. Like, it's difficult for Morgan to say, all right, like, this Aatrox is flanking, let's go on top of him. Tree.
Well, I mean, so basically what Dplus have said, it's just a pile-on composition, right? The problem is, they picked it face up into Galio. Now there's a Maokai there as well that also thrives in those sorts of situations. If the MF can ever get into a position to do damage, then all 5 members of Dplus will be there. Because they have to do damage.
I like the comp here of Dplus so much more, though, because I think it's, again, easier to play. You have a clear win con, you have a clear target in these team fights, and sure, there's some peel here, actually quite a lot, but the MF is just such an easy target. Like, if you have a Zeri, the reason why I wanted the Zeri, or something like it, even the Jinx would have made a lot of sense, which is why they banned it. It's hard to lock her down, and then she can clean up those fights. MF is like, I pressed R, I'm cleaning up the fight if we're winning. If we're losing it, I'm already dead. It's a very binary champion in how it functions, and it doesn't give Hype a lot of agency here. And as Engage gets scarcer and scarcer, I think the stocks of Zeri do go up. And maybe they want to save it for later in the series, but this is a big risk. And I think Dplus should be able to take the win here with the draft they gave themselves.
Yeah, I would assume so. I'm also less upset about the whole Poppy into Trundle situation because don't worry, Beryl is not going to be able to afford to build any items. So it's going to be fine. Let's get on the Rift here for game number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the Rift for the 3rd game of this series. Everything tied up 1-1 between DK and Bro, and we would have it no other way. We just need to make sure that we are going to constantly switch back and forth between the teams, get the maximum value that the Bros have been delivering here in the play-ins. And Hype now going to get closed in on here by DK just a little. Showmaker also actually over here.
It's a little bit scary to try to commit any further than this as Dplus. You can see the wraparound from Closer could be there, but into that level 1 Annie with the stun that she has auto-prepped. Not going to be fighting, not going to be trying to punish.
Yep.
And ends up just being brush control, goes over to aiming and barrel, which is ultimately what they really wanted. And they will be successful. This matchup here, going to be a little bit volatile. Everyone knows Morgan's Ambessa stats are not the best, but I do think his performances have been better than the stats show.
I would agree. I actually think that especially more recently has actually found some good performances. I think it will be difficult for Morgan to play out later game team fights just with the fact that Beryl gets the most value out of the Poppy against the Ambessa.
It's actually crazy how much value it is.
The Maokai, though, just does not care about it. Twisted Advance is so very good. Galio is going to have a bit of a hard time, but Trundle and MF I mean, these are old champions. They don't have dashes, so they'll be fine.
Poppy can also just stop an MF from ulting, can just kick people out of a team fight, take a Trundle away relatively easily. So while like Poppy is not good into Trundle, especially in the jungle because of what Trundle does to you when he subjugates you, Trundle kind of just walks at the team, so it's hard to avoid getting Poppy ulted, especially on objective control.
Yep.
So Poppy kind of good into Trundle in that sense.
Oh, nice double up value there. The thing that I do like about the Bro composition is that they took what worked against them. I believe it was Nongshim that just smashed them with the Misfortune into the Kai'Sa, and the game was just never playable. This time around, though, you can see actually DK finding a bit of value here. Beryl using the minion to taxi towards the MF.
A little bit less value for him on that one.
Yeah.
Otherwise doing fine there in the bottom lane. This matchup is so volatile that like we kind of always got to zoom in on it, as this has been such a common answer into the Annie, but you can see it's an even matchup in terms of win rate.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
going to be an early Constellation Cole buy here for aiming. Actually, this has a longsword.
All right, just going to be that.
That's kind of exactly what you're leading into, though, because this matchup can be really tough to play out. So many Kai'Sa matchups, when you end up with a melee support, it's just like, well, we'll do things later. It's not going to be about right now. And that's kind of the situation here for aiming.
Ooh, Croco going to be battling with Lucid for this crab. Looks like the Trundle will be able to get it there with the combo. So
yeah.
Lucid will have to try and get into position to take the top one, but now actually looking for Croco. A lot of damage does come through.
Showmaker has so much prio here that Lucid can continue this with no fear. Hard to secure the scuttle against the Trundle, but can at least get some damage done. Force him to back, but he was going to back anyways, as both jungles are cleared.
Oh, Lucid actually coming back to see whether Closer wanted a little bit more, but he does Justice punch his way out. So it will be just a crab trade between these two jungles.
Bit of a scuttle trade. Aiming does get back to lane without any issues here. It's in fact Hype who buys the call.
Yeah. And Aiming did miss a cannon, so not so good. You can see that's kind of represented in the money here, and there are 5 minions out of the wave that Hype still hasn't taken. So the bros with a little bit of money banked up, ready to be taken here.
Shiyu has a lot of pressure on him right now. You know, we haven't talked about it too much, but obviously, you know, the all-pro votes came out, right? And there's been a lot of discussion about it. And as much as the players probably try not to read, you know, there's a lot of that. As he's going to redeem himself here.
Morgan's dead. I have no idea what happened, apart from the fact that Shiyu just killed the Lord.
Well,
there must be a reason.
I mean, I may have started talking about him and how I voted for him for first all-pro, and some people didn't like that. And, you know, he's trying to make a big splash here. It's play-ins. It's a big time to prove himself.
Did you also in that sentence say something like year of Closer again? Because Closer also finding a great trade there against Showmaker.
No, I didn't mention anything about Closer this time, but
well then, he just wants to kill Polu. Shiyu is so angry about being forced to play Sion in the last game. I was about to say, like, about how it went, but no, it's not about that. It's just get me off tanks, let me carry, let me show you what I can do.
So let's see this again.
Well, Morgan was the one that started it, and I think this was a bit of a Shiyu saying cool story as he just combos him to death.
Yeah, he just got sweet spotted. I was like, is there something weird where he got level 6 first? No, because he used it when he went bottom lane. Okay, well, Morgan will have 6 in another wave, but does not have it now.
Well, Lucid's going to find Polo here as well, as the Voidseeker does not find.
This early game, pretty good for Dplus, and it's outset.
Yep. We could do that thing where we talk about pendulums again, because it is, it do be swinging. It's on a long leash though, you know, like it takes a long time for this pendulum to get back and forth. It's an entire game of one way and then the other.
Lucid here trying to get some deep vision. They really want to make something happen here topside. Kraka will find him.
Yeah, going to be discovered here momentarily. Lucid actually doing a fair bit of damage here against Croco for now.
I mean, they have so much control with Showmaker's mid-prio. They can kind of do whatever they want. Here he comes, in fact.
Yeah, Beryl kind of unlocked as well as Showmaker looking to move his way up. Does
They
need
can even
to
go on closer if he overextends here. He just needs to be careful. They just need to let this buff go.
Yeah, they need to be wary of the Galio, of course. Showmaker with his stun prepped. If there is ever a Galio in the area, he's always able to stop him from going in. So.
It was kind of funny how closer went up to follow, because I was like, if you kind of just ult from your lane, that's actually the safest call you can make.
Yeah, it doesn't have the range, I don't think, at level 1.
Well, not like fully from his lane, but if he goes back around the Raptor.
Yeah, something like that. You can find an angle where you are still in Fog of War. That is certainly useful.
But ultimately, they give the red buff back to Kroko. Anyways, he takes it, and so nothing happens from there. But I really thought Dplus were going to really hold on to that tempo and that pressure they had there. They do just swiftly give it back. And Grubs are spawning in 15 seconds. Dragon has not been taken, but Kroko's on the bottom side of the map, so it looks like that's his plan. With no top side control, no mid prio. Closer walks back to lane. It looks like they want to turn this into a gank and Dragon. Lucid actually coming down here as well, though, but he's a bit behind the 8 ball.
Oh, he's actually taking a bit of a Raptor timeout as the World Ender is going to come on through. He's trying to avoid the kennel and may be able to do so, and yeah, he gets to safety. Morgan has some dashes, will be able to get himself out of the way. No flash required, didn't have it anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got to hit those if the gank is going to be a success. Nice sidestep there with the ult from Shiu.
Yep,
and
bit of public misexecution, unfortunately.
There you go, right in front of everybody, right on camera.
Yeah.
In the most public way.
It's sometimes how these things go. As Morgan now going to get punished once more. Shiu looking for some knockups here, doesn't quite find the Infernal Chains. And Kroko turning up, will be able to defend his top laner, but Morgan is bleeding here towards his bottom side.
Zed is pretty good into Trundle, as we all know. Doesn't have a ton of resistances himself and is very mobile, so can get over the pillars, but did use his ult early there and is going to respect the Trundle as that exchange does continue. I think if Bro, hit that ult, they get the Dragon. If Morgan hits that ultimate, they get the push on to Shiu and probably trade objectives, but he misses. Lucid comes down to try to defend that play, and now we're kind of reset back to a state where Dragon is still up, Grubs are still up, and Bro still have control over the Dragon, and Dplus are not able to actually rotate in fast enough. Lucid's going topside now here, but Palu does now have level 6, so could delay a potential Grub take.
Yeah, it should just be Kroko able to lock this one down.
It's kind of crazy to me that Bro both get this Dragon and can actually contest a little bit for Grubs here.
Right now, Lucid is going to be able to take at least the first one. It's going to go down very quickly as well, as he's getting closer and closer to that first item. And Beryl just standing guard. That is going to be the gentleman's agreement here, as both of these teams, absolutely full of gentlemen, as we know.
And even though they had Palu with level 6 and the Galio ult was available for closer, they just let the Grubs go. Safer call. That timing.
Yeah,
Still value. There you go.
Yep, Steadfast Presence going to stop him from doing one of his dashes. There you go. As teleport to bring in the Maokai. Palu just getting himself back out onto the map.
They want to prevent Morgan from being dove here. He has ult and flash, and a Maokai is here. I think Dplus definitely will think twice about this.
Yeah, there is a Trundle also making his way up, so Palu looking to try and find Lucid. He's going to be very slippery with his Living Shadow, so Kroko will be able to get the smite onto the Krog camp. But Lucid is going to get stunned up. They're still looking for an angle. Deathmark comes on through, and out goes the Maokai and everyone else.
All right, well, we turned a dive defense into an attempt to look for a pick, and then Beryl says no. That's kind of the long and short of that one. It's very difficult to kill a Zed like that with a pillar setup.
It's like when you're like watching your brothers fight, and you're like, no, come on, guys, let's not do that. And that's what Beryl did. He just sent the rest of them home.
He brought ice cream, and he was like, how about we just all play N64?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, it's no more GoldenEye, no more Mario Kart. There's too much yelling. Let's play something co-op.
Yeah. Maybe play Gauntlet?
Yeah, that could be the way. Definitely not Mario Party.
Yeah, I was going to say
Don't
that is
play Mario Party.
Morgan still has Flash, but doesn't have his ult anymore, and I think he's just dead.
Yeah, he is very, very dead.
Well,
does look to lock down Beryl, as one more auto will do it. Aiming was tanking the turret, so that means they are able to get it done. Got a little bit frightening there in the middle, but it wouldn't be a DK dive if it wasn't a little bit frightening.
Yeah, it's a huge win for them, though, as they are 3 Grubs in with this Aatrox composition. And all those plates going over, and some minions here denied as Hype heads back to the lane here very late. So much farm is shut down here. And there's no cross-map opportunity, as this is the dive here. We kind of skip everything that happened before. Morgan no longer has his ults, only has a flash here. Barrow gets him into the wall. He's very tanky with that shield, though. Barrow gets out of turret aggro range, though, does not die.
Yep. Is the Poppy, so is deceptively tanky. So, okay. The Bros suffering a little bit in the kills department, and kind of the rest of the departments as well. Next Dragon going to be a Hextech. That's going to be up in 2.5 minutes. Going to be difficult for Bro to hold on to priority of that area. They still have a lot of vision down there, though, so double Dragon potential here for this team. And I do still think that the front to back of this comp of the Bros, especially if they get Morgan on a good flank, things can work well. They have some answers to what DK wants to do, but unfortunately, DK have a composition that snowballs very well.
Losing so many minions around the map as Hype is trying to catch them, these waves, and missing minions at a time. Lucid getting some more farm away as well.
Yeah, Crocker gonna be taking a death mark here as Lucid continuing to try and do damage. Showmaker wanting to catch up and take down the Troll King. And down he will go. There's Feats of Warfare locked up from Lucid. That is first item completion diff right there.
And also he subjugates Lucid, and Lucid's like, I'm Zed!
I have no health bar anyway! Well, there is the bullet time, but it is not bullet time, unfortunately. So he has to cancel that one
very briefly
quickly.
Bullet time to get some minions and then cancel it.
The bullet time, unfortunately, didn't go into bullet time, so he didn't get enough bullet time.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Not going to get a second season of bullet time.
Yeah, he needs to talk to Keanu Reeves about how to bullet time correctly. All right, we're going to check this one out from Lucid's perspective.
Gets the camp away. Has Eclipse, so has that extra shield. Goes in for the combo here. Has ult running.
Yeah, he likes it.
Good. Got him.
And he said it was delicious. At least that's what I heard.
I think he said Chabasol, like I got him.
I thought he said Mashaso.
Well, they often do, so, you know.
That could have been one. G-Sun confirms, though, that it was I got him, so it wasn't delicious. May have also been both.
He might have said it right off after we got the comms cut.
Yeah.
Well.
That might save me. Okay.
I was trying to not known to be on a healthy diet, so it might not really be that delicious to eat, but
yeah.
This game is very slow, but also very oppressive, and I think Bro have just been completely out-macroed, to be honest. Like, we haven't talked a ton about like where all the goal leads and stuff are, but Dplus are just kind of walking around the map and taking everything they want, and that's kind of how this comp works, as Lucid once again lurking. He's got the right target.
Oh God, yeah. Hype is gonna have to try and make it rain, but unfortunately it's rain and aimings instead. And down he will go.
So,
oh dear, well, there's a taunt onto Showmaker. He's putting the kennel as well, but Tibbers, he likes that. That's another kill for Lucid, somehow. We'll need context on that one. He went very far for that, used his flash, survived. And Beryl is continuing to be frustrating here. Closer not going to be backing, and that will spell a lot of damage on these turrets. Oh my God.
First turret and Dragon after getting the kill and not backing, he doesn't care. Well, yeah, this game is starting to really become quite a one-sided one.
Thankfully, the Bros have already taken a Dragon, and so they're not going to get perfect gamed here in Game 3.
Yeah, it's not going to be a double Dragon. They got one objective as well with that Dragon, you know, so it's not like they got perfect feats either. This is how Hype died. We knew this part.
Yeah.
They picked MF here, by the way. And then Palu eats some of Amy's Q. He doesn't even stick for it. Yeah, Lucid just... red buff.
Yeah, just gets him. There it is.
As well committed, I think.
That's going to be some bounty gold. Beryl is about 100 health, but that's exactly the way he likes it, as Close is teleported in. That is going to be Rift Herald going over to the Bros against the flow of play.
Yeah, they may be able to, by the way, bounty, if they could get this mid-turret. I'm not sure if they can actually get the mid-turret with a drop here, but they are going to try for it. Hype has ult. So they're trying to bait a play here out of Dplus.
Squishy members of DK are the ones trying to frontline here as in goes Morgan, finds Showmaker, and down he will go. The turret is still standing, but it's not quite working out. Polo goes over the wall. The Zed is already dead. And Aiming and Beryl will not be able to stand their ground. Shiu is taken out of turret here on this top side of the map as they do get a second charge on the inner.
There's a big wave here. I don't know if they quite have enough, though, to go for a double turret, but double charge is good enough. The rare Zed taunt. As Galio hits Lucid there, and he is taken out as a second death.
Ooh, Croco does need to be a little careful. Killer Instinct is up here for aiming.
Well, that was a big swing of gold back into Bro's, you know, eliminating some of their deficit here as they just 5-man mid, and the bullet time is on top of Showmaker here. Very simple to execute when you siege up like this with the Herald, and then the taunt goes down onto Lucid there, and that is his death as well. They get the extra charge. Still a 2,000 gold lead here, and a lot of advantages on the side of Dplus, namely this incredibly fed Kai'Sa and Zed. And also, Xiu's starting to become pretty big as well, because he spent a lot of time freely hitting turrets and sides.
Yep, that was pretty good for Morgan, though, because he did manage to get that kill. Yeah. Feels like he's getting a little bit out of the woods. And that gold lead of like 270 here at 17.5 minutes doesn't really matter that much. Still, Sundered Sky, pretty disgusting. Yeah. Aatrox especially.
On any champion, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like Aatrox, with the fact that his passive is just kind of the same thing as well.
It's like pretty good on like Lee Sin, you know, also, you know, it's like Poppy jungle, surprisingly, actually, yeah, really good there too.
Yeah, and yeah, Xin Zhao is pretty good.
Xin Zhao, yeah.
Been pretty good.
Wukong occasionally, if you're a connoisseur of that.
Insert melee champion name here, pretty good. Yorick, pretty good, for example. I like it on Garen. Let's have a look at how the rest of this game goes, though, because the Bros demonstrating that the tempo vibes are not necessarily residing over DK's side of the map.
Well, this is a weird setup here for Dplus, so there's no real objective to fight for. There's no top turret, as I am concerned there could have been a potential overextension there. We've seen that quite a bit, especially from our Noodle team yesterday. This type of game state, but they get a lot of Croco's health, and it is a Zed, so he should be fine,
We'll see whether he will be fine, as the death mark does come out onto Croco. The explosion of damage comes in, Subjugate not enough to keep him alive, and Lucid just goes back to his other shadow. That gives time for Showmaker to make his way over, and Xiu has finally joined the fight, finds Hype, and that is going to get the flash out of the MF. The tree died off camera, and DK right back into the driver's seat. Those tempo vibes, man, they are a fickle mistress, are they not?
They certainly are. And what looked like it could have been a potential catch there, and a nice contest from Bro does not work out. Hype is under turret, right, this entire time, is not involved in this play whatsoever because he's dealing with a Kai'Sa in mid. The Aatrox rotates over, which is kind of funny as well. Lucid is able to just completely avoid this Nature's Grasp by going back to his shadow, and then Paulo, who's trying to set something up with it, just gets executed, and then the Misfortune is collapsed on. But you know, before he got that kill, or helped get Morgan that kill in the mid lane onto Showmaker with the Herald, I was about to say we could play the Challengers game of like, who do you think is going to win from this game state? But I was like, I want to play the Misfortune game where we predict how much damage the Misfortune does, because we've seen some like 4K Misfortune games. He did get a lot of Showmaker's health.
I think it's like it's a
sub 8,000, right?
I think it's a 7 to 10.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him a 7 to 10.
Yeah,
and that's definitely not great.
The game state, it calmed down for a little bit, so I'm thinking that's pretty fair. I was gonna say sub 8.
Yeah,
it's one of those Misfortune games where if you don't get to play the game, you really don't get to play the game. And Dplus, with this much map control, they play the game however they want. And right now, just putting Deep Vision up on the bottom side of the map and collapsing onto Morgan is the name of the game.
That's what they're going to look for. As Showmaker and Lucid are closing in, they would really like Beryl to be here. Steadfast Presence gets so much work done against the Ambessa, who's now going to have to vacate. Not a whole lot of minions, but they do have 3 grubs, so these Void Mites are going to really be helping out. Croco does take a bunch of petals here. Petal value in trade for an inner turret. I'm going to put that firmly in the cons column.
Yeah, and then Aatrox just TP's top side to do it again.
Yeah, the Archon is here, so that's exactly where they want to be.
Exactly.
Showmaker with his teleport still up and available.
Look at how much vision they have, and they're under so much threat, and then Lucid's just like, I take this dragon for free, by the way.
Oh, he does.
And Showmaker does have TP, so he replaces the side laning Aatrox on the bottom side. Aatrox is free to sit up their top side. If he's left alone, he'll just push that back and start hitting that other inner turret I was mentioning. And then the Archon vision will naturally eventually get taken over by Dplus as they reset post-Dragon. And Dplus playing a good macro game again here in Game 3.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's so crazy, man. The power of the pendulum. It's like we're just watching a swing set, is basically how it goes.
Blue side strong?
Yeah, it does seem to be how it works.
Is it good drafting win?
I mean, yeah. I could see DK picking their last draft on blue side any day of the week. What would the first pick have been? Like, in other metas, maybe the first pick could have been the Ahri or the Sion or the Vi. Vi definitely would have been the way that they got there. And then you're like, Ahri, Sion, yes.
There's that Showmaker TP. He appeared to be not there, but he's there, in fact.
And I don't know whether the Bros can do anything about this.
No.
They do have the Nature's Grasp, but it's so far away. Polo moving in, and Lucid able to lock this one down. The Poppycopter is spinning. But Beryl doesn't even need to use it, as now Closer on that flank angle is going to get spotted out. Does a lot of damage here to Aiming, who's trying to keep himself healthy. Shiu doing the same thing. Look at that health bar! That item is revolting! And Morgan is caught out on the backside. They are just being surgically removed from the map. If you have a bro problem, DK can solve it for you. There is Shiu taking down the Trundle, and Closer going to be the next one on the menu. They are all about conservation here, though, so the trees will live, but that is all. Gargoyles need not apply. Notre Dame will be taken down in front of their eyes. Down goes the inner turret. There are a lot of weird references in that last play-by-play. I'm sorry about that one, but that was a great fight for DK.
Yeah, bro, very termite-like in their infestation of the Otacon area.
Thankfully, the tree got out of the way of the termites, though.
Exactly.
We're all about nature here.
And look, this ult from Paulo, like you mentioned, he's so far away, he's so late, he only hits Showmaker. And then this, if you like paused it here and it was an even game set, I'm like, ooh, they get some exit kills for sure, right? But it's a massive lead. That item you mentioned, it's revolting. It's just disgusting. It's Aatrox on it, man. It's like,
oh my
it's like Titanic Hydra, or what was it, Profane Hydra Aatrox all over again.
Yep, Gore Drinker Profane Hydra combo with a Death Dance or something, but it's all in one item and it's called Sundered Sky.
Just nasty. Dplus are so far ahead that Aatrox is just not collapsible onto, and it's very easy to clean up here as Dplus. They started the Otacon, they had a great turn off of it, they secure it, and they secure the team fight win and the game with it, as there's no Baron. That's not up for a minute's time. The Nexus hasn't exploded yet, but this MF, let's just say she's not getting younger in this game.
Yep. Now we've got to teleport in. Showmaker could be in trouble, gets a speed up from the Molten Shield.
Phase rush out, get out of there!
Nature's Grasp! That's going to lock him up, covered in cats, and put in the bin. Down goes Showmaker. It does take a bit of time, does do a bit of damage there as well. But the Showmaker for inhibitor turret trade is one that scholars have actually come to a determination on. They have said, in fact, getting the inhibitor in the mid lane,
when you call the bro exterminators, they'll throw in an extra inhibitor as well.
Yeah, I guess that's how it works. They got a good coupon on that one as Lucid gets himself out. The bullet time, it's not bullet time. It's time for something else. Maybe it's game 4 time for the bros.
Dplus called in the first 15 minutes, right after that ad.
Yeah.
And that is a bounty going over to Morgan. That's something. But my bro leaf is not very strong right now in this third game, Atlas.
Dwindling, to say the least, Wolf, as DK do manage to take down another inhibitor turret. The Baron has spawned as DK slink back to the Fog of War. They're going to buy some items.
You know, I think when I told the League of Legends gods and the LCK gods and tried to caster curse this into existence, I said I wanted a close back and forth series. I meant close games in the series, not just like one team stomps, the next team stomps, and the next team stomps. Like, that's what we're watching here. Shiu is Aatrox, he doesn't care about your chicken buckets. Good skin choice from Closer, but it's not enough.
It's not quite going to work. Able to umbrally dash his way out of that. Lucid going to help with, going to get some help from Aiming to take down the red buff.
And it's just one-sided blue side games one after the other here, and this time Dplus are doing it again. There is a great comp.
There is some learning to be done though this time around, Wolf.
Don't blind Trundle.
Yeah, and also don't randomly fumble a team fight.
Yeah, that's also a problem.
If DK follows that, then I think that we're going to go back to a space that has a chronicler on it that isn't looking quite as stressed. If we get another one of these things where we're, you know, meandering around the Baron and barrel ults thin air, and then the bros just steal it away or something like that against this massive 7.6k gold lead, then that could be a real problem. So this, though, is not looking like it's going to be a problem for Lucid.
The game state makes this a little bit unfair, but I want everyone to see. Hype has IE, okay, he has it.
Yeah.
Aiming does have, you know, a 3,400 gold lead, an extra arm guard and Nashor's Tooth and all that, but
And very cool
Let's just like not talk about the individual matchup. Let's just say like, look, it's a 2.5 item misfortune. You know, maybe she could do something in this fight. Let's see what she does in these upcoming fights, if anything, in this draft.
Beryl would go in there, wouldn't he?
He would.
As
Then he would
this
go
time,
out.
aiming is going to be alongside him. Lucid there as well. He really wants to kill Closer. He might be able to do so, but the death mark is not quite going to do the damage. The bullet time does, though, as Beryl will be going down, but there is also the Galio falling as Shiu gets into the backline. This time, he's on a champion that's actually supposed to do the flanking, and there he goes. He finds the angle, has aiming there for the cleanup, and I don't think we're even going to see a Baron, as I think DK just want to end the game.
Even going into a choke point at MF, but you know what? Maybe Hype broke 8K off that one. That's your consolation prizes. Dplus are going up to match point here in a very decisive Game 3.
Oh my goodness. Showmaker flashed him at the air just to show that he didn't even need it to win that last team fight, because there was a certain top laner that got a lot of that work done for them. So that is going to be match point here for Dplus. They take down the bros.